What if I told you the strongest, most sustainable materials weren't invented in a lab, but remembered? Before plastic wrapped our lives in convenience, before synthetics promised progress, but delivered a different kind of permanence, humans built a world that worked, not temporarily, not disposably, but deliberately. Every object had a lifespan measured in years, sometimes generations. Every material had a purpose, a weakness, a logic. This was a world without petroleum, without polymers, without anything that would outlive the people who made it. So today, we're not looking backward out of nostalgia. We're stepping back to ask an uncomfortable question. If plastic is the future, why does so much of the past still work? Before plastic, choosing a material was a serious decision. There were no shortcuts. If you picked wood, you accepted that it could rot. If you picked metal, you accepted weight and corrosion. If you picked leather, you accepted maintenance and care. Nothing was consequence-free. Plastic changed all of that. It offered a miracle material with no immediate drawbacks. It was light, cheap, flexible, waterproof. But it also removed responsibility from design. When materials stop aging, designers stop thinking long-term. When objects don't break naturally, they accumulate unnaturally. Before plastic, failure was expected. And because failure was expected, things were built to delay it. Wood wasn't a fallback material. It was engineered. Different trees were chosen for different jobs. Ash for its flexibility, oak for its strength, teak for its water resistance, bamboo for its tension and speed. Furniture was joined together without nails. Structures were designed to flex with humidity instead of cracking against it. Tools absorbed shock rather than transmitting it to your hand. Plastic snaps, wood bends. Modern design calls this smart material behavior. The past simply called it experience. A chair wasn't just a chair. It was a negotiation between gravity, weight, and time. Before synthetic composites, nature already had them. Bone, horn, shell, sinew. These were layered materials. Strong where they needed to resist force, flexible where breaking would mean death. Horn could be softened in hot water, reshaped and hardened again. Bone resisted compression, shell deflected impact. These materials were used for knife handles, buttons, needles, armor, and even musical instruments. Today, we engineer composites in laboratories. Centuries ago, people made them from animals they hunted, used fully, and respected. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was eternal. Every material had a life, and then it returned to one. Clothing before plastic wasn't waterproof because it repelled water. It was waterproof because it understood water. Wool traps air even when it's soaked. Linen dries quickly and resists bacteria. Cotton breathes. Silk regulates temperature better than most modern fabrics. Sailors wore tightly woven wool that would swell when it got wet, sealing out wind and rain. Shepherds wore lanolin-rich garments that naturally repelled moisture. Modern rain jackets often trap sweat and fail silently. Traditional textiles worked with the body, not against it. The fabric knew what the body needed because the body helped invent the fabric. Long before superglue, humans bonded materials together using biology. Tree resins, animal hides, fish bladders, milk proteins. Some of these ancient adhesives remained functional even after centuries. They weren't permanent, they were repairable. If something broke, it could be reheated, softened, and rebonded. Plastic adhesives promised strength. Traditional adhesives offered forgiveness. And forgiveness mattered because nothing was meant to be thrown away. Before plastic containers, there were alternatives everywhere. Clay pots that cooled water naturally through evaporation. Woven baskets that allowed food to breathe. Glass bottles reused endlessly. Metal tins repaired, reshaped, and passed down. Packaging was temporary by design. Today, our packaging lasts longer than the food inside it. Before plastic, waste wasn't managed, it was avoided. Before plastic, repair wasn't optional. Shoes were resoled, clothes were mended, tools were sharpened, rehandled, reforged. Objects carried the marks of their use. A repaired item wasn't defective, it was experienced. Plastic erased that culture. When repair becomes impossible, replacement becomes normal. And when replacement becomes normal, nothing is ever valued for long. Plastic didn't just change materials. It changed our thinking. It taught us to expect permanence without care, convenience without consequence, speed without reflection. The past didn't have better technology. It had better relationships with materials. They knew where things came from. They knew where they would go. And because of that, they built differently. This isn't a call to abandon plastic entirely. It's a call to remember what came before it. Because buried in history are solutions we stopped looking for. Materials that aged instead of polluting. Objects that invited repair instead of replacement. Designs that assumed responsibility. The future may need new inventions, but it may also need old wisdom. And perhaps the most radical idea of all is that progress doesn't always mean adding something new. Sometimes it means remembering what we chose to forget. Thanks for watching.